Okay, so when we get into footwork, there are basically 3 steps. Total of 6, depending on which leg you have forward. Okay, so when I start, I can shuffle step to the side, I can pass through, and I can shuffle step, right? Basically, these 3 shots allow you to move around in a radius. Now, we can also talk about moving forward and moving backward, right? When I shuffle forward, I'm shuffling forward, I'm shuffling backward, right? When you move, you always want your foot that is in the direction of the movement to move first. So, when I'm moving forward, my feet become wider, and then my feet become narrower, right? When I'm moving to the side, my right foot moves before my left foot. What happens if my left foot moves first?
Off balance?
Your feet are crossed, right? So here, I'm in a bad position. I have weak balance, right? Same thing when I'm moving in the other direction. If I'm moving to the left, I want my left leg to move first, and then my right leg. If, again, I move my right leg before my left leg, I'm at this point where my target is here on me, and I'm at a weak point in my balance. Okay? Now, balance, as we talked about, is super, super important. I'm going to have you, Brian, you come forward here real quick. This is a concept called the reciprocity of balance. Okay? Every single one of us is what are 2-legged chairs, right? So get into a square stance for me. Okay? Every single stance that we have, in the direction of the line of our feet, we are very, very strong, right, as far as our balance goes. But in the line perpendicular to our feet, we are weak because we're all 2-legged chairs, right? So if you get into your stance against me, where is the line that you are strongest? Good, right? So coming in this direction. Where's the line that you're weakest? Coming in from this direction, right? And this can be really, really useful on the battlefield, right? Looking at how somebody stands. Because if I'm lined up here and I see him, that's where you would want to be. But I can go, oh, right? He's off balance. That's going to be the angle at which he is weak, right? And we have to understand this and know so that we can adapt and change the positioning that we take against our opponents. Okay, now, when we also talk about footwork, we have to talk about stance, okay? And we can talk about a stance that is our box stance, where you have a line and going between my heel and my toe, my feet are shoulder width apart. Where am I strongest? This basically cuts the right. Now this cuts down some of the angles at which I can be attacked to be weak, right? As far as my balance goes, right? Also, one of the lines of movement is that in the line of our feet is the direction that is easiest for us to move. So if we have a narrow stance, this is really easy for me to move forward and backward. But moving to the side is slower, right? If I'm here, right, for me to move forward, I actually have to shift my weight onto this leg to take that step, right? So this to move forward and backward, but moving to the side is really, really easy. If we have a very wide stance, okay? So here's my normal stance, and I want you to watch my head level. What do you notice about my head level? It drops, right? It's only an inch or two, but it drops. So as my feet get further and further apart, I'm dropping my center of gravity, right? My lines become lower, right? This gives me better balance because it's lowering my center of balance. But there are weaknesses involved too, okay? In the same manner, if I bring my feet closer together, what has happened? I have a narrower base, so my balance is weaker, right? Going back to having a very wide stance, one of the problems with this, and this is one of the things that you will see a lot of people give you criticism for having a very wide stance, is this actually inhibits your footwork, right? Because before you can move, before I can lift this leg to take a step, I have to shift my weight onto my other leg, right? And the wider my feet are apart, the longer it takes for me to get my weight over that leg. So I have to shift my weight, right? Whereas here, it's this much movement for me to take that pass through. Okay? Now what I want you guys to do is come all over here, and we're going to look at a pass through real quick. Okay? So when we do a pass through, we're changing the leg we have forward. Okay? So if I'm taking a step here to here. Now, it's not just step and step, right? What happens is there are two motions. The leg that is in the direction of our movement is going to move first. It is not the back leg that is doing the actual movement. The first movement is here, right? Yes. So by pivoting here, it frees my legs to come in. Now, I want you to go and lock this leg into place and take that step through. You guys feel that there is that binding in your hip, right? So we want to make sure that's fluid. The next thing is that when you practice this slow, because we want to ensure that we are in balance through the entire transition of that step. So as we come in, right, I should be able to stop at any point and come through, right? If I have to stop and I'm off balance, I'm not in balance through that entire transition. It's a momentary point of weakness, but this is one of those things. And so most of the time when you see people take this step, they will just come and they'll just take a step forward, right? If I try to stop at any point in that transition, I'm going to fall over. I'm not going to be in balance. So how I want to do this is what's called a crescent step. My foot actually comes in towards my center before it comes out and forward, right? Because at any point, I can stop. And if you guys have ever done yoga before, yoga is actually great for footwork because it helps you build up the muscles in your core, and these are all the little support muscles that are going to actually help you build resistance for doing this, and it'll help you stay in balance while moving. Okay. All right.